Class 10 will continue chapter number 8, that is circulatory system. Today in this session we'll see the different kinds of blood vessels. That all you know that there are three kinds of blood vessels. There are artery, vein and capillaries. Okay, more or less the functions of each one of them are already seen, are already discussed, but even though as given there in the syllabus, we'll see the structural differences or structures of these three different kinds of blood vessels, and again we'll see the functions. Okay, it's given there in the syllabus. Okay, so let's get started with artery. Okay, this is your artery. All right, and artery, as you see out here, has thick muscular wall. It has got thick muscular wall. So why it is thick? It is because that artery is the vessel, especially aorta, through which the blood reaches the different parts of the body. Even it reaches the tip of your fingers, tip of the fingers of your leg region. All right, so the blood reaches there all the way through the artery, so that the artery's wall is thick. Okay, it is muscular and thick enough. All right, and a narrow lumen. It has got a narrow lumen. So this is the central bore. The central bore. Okay, that is called lumen. Central bore. Okay, this lumen means the central bore, means the centrally located opening. Okay, is narrow in this case. All right, and also blood flows through artery in spot. In spot. This spot means with a certain speed. Okay, that means the blood flows through artery with certain speed, with great speed. The blood flows through this artery. All right, so it is called spot. So the blood flows through artery in spot. Okay, and the function, as we have discussed in the last session also, the function of artery is to allow the blood to flow through them away from the heart to the different parts of the body. That means the function of artery is to distribute the blood from the heart to the different parts of the body. Okay, it carries the blood away from the heart. Away means to the different parts of the body. That's the function of artery. Okay, the structure of this artery is given out here. Okay, then let us go to the vein. So after talking about the vein, I'll just go through these labeled parts also. All right, so let us talk about the other type of blood vessel called vein. V-E-I-N, vein. All right, so unlike the artery out here, these veins have thin muscular wall. Okay, vein has got thin muscular wall, wider lumen. So it has got narrow lumen, but it has got a wider lumen. The centrally located opening, the central bore, is wider in the case of vein. All right, and here, unlike in the case of this artery, the blood flows in uniform. Okay, that means blood flows uniformly, not like in the case of this here, as actually it flows in spot with great sudden speed, but it doesn't happen so in the case of vein. All right, and also you see these veins contain pocket like valves. Okay, pocket like, this is your pocket like you see out here. This is pocket like valves. So veins have got pocket like valves out here. Okay, which also makes the blood flow in one direction. Okay, so that once the blood flows through this, it will not allow the blood to come back or to flow backward. All right, so this is the function of this your pocket shaped valve present in the vein. All right, and the opening of this valve is, you see facing towards the heart. Opening of the valve you see facing towards the heart. Alright, so that's all about your vein. And let me tell you the function also here. Function of the vein. The function of the vein is to collect the different kinds of blood into the heart. Okay, into the heart. That means blood is brought back to the heart from the different parts of the body. Okay, so that means those blood, okay, from the different parts of the body you see being collected into the heart through the valve. All right, through the vein. All right, so here it carries the blood from heart away from the heart to different parts of the body, but here from different parts of the body to the heart. So that's the function of vein. All right, so here you see mainly here 3 layers of each of these vessels we see here. They are external, middle and internal. As you see here, external layer, which is usually made up of connective tissue, and this is also called tunica externa, the external layer, okay, which is also called tunica externa. Then middle layer, which you see in both the cases, middle layer, which is in fact smooth muscle and elastic fibers. Okay, so usually it is smooth, is usually made up of smooth muscles and elastic fibers, and this is also called tunica media. Okay, then the innermost one we find endothelium, which is called tunica interna. So these are the 3 layers you find in the blood vessels, that is artery and vein. All right, then we'll go about the another type of blood vessel called capillary. Okay, this is your capillary. As you see the structure of capillary. So if it is not clear out here, you can see the book also, page number 104. Here you can see the blood capillary here. All right, so this blood capillary's wall. Okay, this is the blood capillary, and its wall consists of a single layer of squamous epithelial cells. Okay, its wall consists of single layer of squamous epithelial cells. Okay, and has no muscle. It doesn't have muscles. Unlike these two, it doesn't have muscles. We'll see the functions of capillary. Okay, the functions of capillary. Okay, now see, this capillary allows the outward diffusion of oxygen into the intercellular fluid, then into the tissue cells. Okay, what happens is that once the oxygenated blood flows through here, this is your arterial region. Okay, then when it goes through this capillary, then what happens is that this capillary allows the outward diffusion of oxygen. Okay, so oxygen diffuses out from this capillary. Okay, and goes into the intercellular fluid. Intercellular fluid means say there are so many cells here. So in between the cells there is the fluid substance there. Okay, so it will allow the oxygen to go into this intercellular fluid, and from intercellular fluid it will go to the tissue cells where the oxygen is needed. Okay, in the same way it also allows the inward diffusion of carbon dioxide. So once the oxygen is taken to the cell, again carbon dioxide is formed. So that carbon dioxide is collected by that intercellular fluid, then from intercellular fluid back to this. Okay, to this. That means it will allow the inward diffusion of carbon dioxide into the capillary. So from there it is taken to your artery. Ultimately it goes to the, not artery in fact, ultimately it goes to the your right atrium or right auricle, and from right auricle to the ventricle, and from ventricle it will go to the lungs for the purification. Okay, this is how it happens. All right, and also this capillary allows the inward and outward diffusion. Okay, not only inside, not only outside, but inward and outward diffusions of so many substances, okay, like glucose, amino acids, hormones, etc. Okay, so that is also there. And this your capillary also allows the allows the WBC, okay, white blood cells. Okay, it also allows the WBCs or white blood cells or leukocytes to be oozed out, okay, to be oozed out or to be squeezed out of this, okay, by the amoeboid movement, which is called diapedesis. You must have been remembering, which you had done in the last session only. So that process of oozing out of this capillary is called diapedesis. So by the process called diapedesis, what they can do is that they can even destroy bacteria, they can even fight the germs, bacteria, and also that way our body is dependent. So this capillary also allows the diapedesis, which means this capillary also allows WBCs to be oozed out of this vessel and fight against the germs. Okay, so these are the different types of functions or different functions of capillary. Okay, this is these are three different kinds of blood vessels, that is artery, vein, and capillaries. All right, now we'll see the major blood vessels which are actually in your syllabus. So major blood vessels entering the heart and leaving the heart. In the same way, major blood vessels entering the liver and leaving the liver. All right, and similarly entering the kidney and leaving the kidneys. Okay, we'll see. And because these are the vessels which are there in your syllabus, major blood vessels. Okay, so first we'll see blood vessels. Blood vessels entering the heart. Okay, blood vessels entering the heart. So as we discussed in the last session also with the help of diagram, which are the blood vessels entering the heart? Do you know that? So we discussed last time, you must be knowing. Okay, just try to recapitulate. Number one, we see okay, we have superior vena cava, superior vena cava, okay, which is also called anterior vena cava. All right, then your inferior vena cava, inferior vena cava, okay, or it is also called posterior vena cava. Okay, posterior vena cava. That means the superior vena cava and superior vena cava that we discussed in the last session, that they collect the blood, or this superior vena cava collects the blood from the upper parts of the body into the right auricle. Okay, that we discussed last time. And your inferior vena cava collects the blood, which blood? Impure blood, into the right auricle only. Okay, superior and inferior vena cava are the two blood vessels entering the heart. Similarly, what is there? This is A. You can then other number 3 also there. Then your veins. Okay, veins are there, which are called your which kind of veins? You see, pulmonary veins. Pulmonary veins. Pulmonary veins. There are two pulmonary veins. Two pulmonary veins. Okay, two pairs of pulmonary veins. You see, coming from the lungs, two different lungs. Okay, two pulmonary veins from each lung. Okay, two pulmonary veins from each lung to the left to the left auricle, to the left auricle. So after the purification, after the purification, the blood will be collected by the pulmonary veins to the left auricle. Okay, because there are two lungs where the purification of blood takes place. So after the purification, this pulmonary veins will collect the pure blood into the left auricle. Okay, so these are the blood vessels entering the heart. And then what is there? Blood vessels leaving the heart. Blood vessels leaving the heart. Leaving the heart. Blood vessels leaving the heart. Which are the blood vessels leaving the heart? Number one, you see here, your pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery. Okay, pulmonary artery. So pulmonary artery will collect the impure blood from right ventricle to the lungs for the purification. Okay, from right ventricle to the lungs. From right ventricle to the lungs for purification. Okay, pulmonary artery. Second, your aorta. That is from left ventricle. Okay, left ventricle to different parts of the body. Okay, so there is another one. The largest artery, we call it aorta, collects the pure blood from the left ventricle to different parts of the body. That means it distributes. Your aorta distributes the pure blood from the left ventricle to different parts of the body, which means they are leaving the heart. So these are the different kinds of blood vessels entering into the heart and leaving the heart, which are there in your syllabus. Okay, now we'll see major blood vessels entering the liver and leaving the liver. Similarly, major blood vessels entering the kidney and leaving the kidney, which are also there in your syllabus. Here, first we'll see liver blood vessels entering the liver. Which are the blood vessels entering the liver? Number one, hepatic artery. Hepat. Okay, hepat means liver. Hepatitis. Okay, these are the hepatitis is a disease related to your hepat, means related to your liver. Similarly, here you see hepatic artery. Your liver also needs the pure blood, which is coming from the heart. So your aorta is the largest artery coming from the heart, and from aorta there are a number of arteries branched out. So from this aorta, the artery coming to the hepat or coming to the liver is called hepatic artery. Okay, in the same way, your hepatic portal vein. Hepatic portal vein is also there, which are also entering the liver. That is from stomach and intestine into liver. See here, your stomach and intestine are the parts of digestive system where the food is digested and absorbed also. So this food-laden blood, okay, food-laden blood, okay, will not be directly going into the right auricle by this your inferior vena cava, superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, that we discussed a lot. Just before this also we discussed. So these are that is the blood vessel which collect the impure blood into the right auricle. So before going into it, first what happens out here is that from stomach and intestine, that food-laden blood will be collected by the hepatic portal vein into the liver first. It will go to the liver first. Okay, it will go to the liver first. Okay, then only what happens? The blood will go to that impure blood, or the food-laden blood will be going to the posterior vena cava by this hepatic vein. Okay, that means the vein, hepatic portal vein coming from this stomach goes to the hepat or to the liver, and from liver it goes to the posterior vena cava by this hepatic vein. Okay, that means so hepatic vein is the blood vessel leaving the liver. That means going away from the liver is your hepatic vein. So this vein, okay, after coming to the liver, so I mean this vein is the one which collect all those things there into the liver. So from liver again it has to go to the different regions, especially to the right auricle. From right auricle goes to the right ventricle, and from there it goes to the lungs for purification. So it happens via the, these two, hepatic vein and posterior vena cava. That means hepatic vein is the one which is leaving the liver. Then this hepatic vein will join the posterior vena cava, and posterior vena cava will carry it to the right auricle, and from right auricle to the ventricle, ventricle to the right ventricle, from right ventricle to the lungs for purification. Okay, so this is what you see out here. Let me write out your flow chart. So here, hepatic portal vein, hepatic portal vein, hepatic portal. Okay, hepatic portal vein will take it to the your liver. So liver, from liver it will go to, from liver it will go to the posterior vena cava, posterior vena cava by the your hepatic vein, alright. Then from posterior vena cava, or posterior vena cava will carry it to the your right auricle, from right auricle to right ventricle, so from right ventricle to the lungs for purification. So here let us not go into it, but first you got to see the blood vessels entering the liver and leaving the liver. So entering the liver are this hepatic artery coming from the aorta, from the heart, and your hepatic portal veins coming from the stomach and intestine. Alright, where? To the liver. Okay, then after that the vessels leaving the liver, okay, going away from the liver, is your hepatic vein. What do you call it? Hepatic vein. So that hepatic vein will go from the liver into where? The posterior vena cava. What does that posterior vena cava do? As we have discussed before, posterior vena cava will collect the impure blood from the lower part of the body into the right auricle. Okay, and from right auricle it goes to the right ventricle, then from right ventricle to the lungs for purification. Okay, so here you just got to see the blood vessels entering the liver and leaving the liver. Similarly, here we see kidney now. Blood vessels entering the kidney and leaving the kidney. See here, number one, here renal artery. See, renal means you should understand that it is connected to your kidney. Alright, so renal artery is the blood vessel entering the kidney, coming from where? From the heart. From the heart, after being branched out of the aorta. Aorta is the largest artery coming from the heart, and from there it is branched out into number of arteries. So among them, one is there which is called renal artery, into where? The kidney. Okay, that is called renal artery. Similarly, the blood vessel leaving the kidney is your renal vein. From kidney, where? To the posterior vena cava again. Okay, from kidney the impure blood will be collected by the posterior vena cava, and from posterior vena cava it goes to the right auricle, from right auricle to the right ventricle, from right ventricle to the lungs for purification. This is how it goes on. Okay, so these are the major blood vessels entering the heart and leaving the heart, entering the liver and leaving the liver, and entering the kidney and leaving the kidney. So these are the blood vessels you should be knowing, okay, because these are there in your syllabus. All right, now we'll see significance of hepatic portal system. Okay, is important and also there in your syllabus. What is the utility of hepatic portal system, or what is the importance? All right, it's very important, as you have just now discussed that food after being absorbed there in the small intestine and stomach, okay, it will not directly go to the different parts of the body, but it first is brought to the liver. Is first brought to the liver. That means the food-laden blood, okay, food-laden blood from the stomach and intestine is comes to the liver. okay, comes to the liver by the hepatic portal vein. That means hepatic portal vein will bring that food-laden blood to the hepat or to the liver, okay, to the liver, and that liver now acts as a store, acts as a store or storehouse, okay, to regulate the quantity of nutrients or quantity of digested food materials flowing into the general blood circulation, okay, flowing into the general blood circulation. Okay, for example, you see excess sugar. Suppose we have eaten or we have taken excess sugar or glucose, so that will be brought to the liver in the same way, okay, and is stored in the form of glycogen, stored in the form of glycogen, okay, not in the form of glucose, because glucose is a readily soluble form of the carbohydrate, okay, but that excess glucose will be brought to the liver in the same way and is converted in the form of glycogen and is stored there. So this is how it regulates. Not only that, sometimes what happens is that sometimes food absorbs some poisons also. That means sometimes food contains some poisons also. So once that poison containing food is brought to the liver, then in the liver it gets detoxified, okay, it gets what? Detoxified. It gets detoxified. So that way also this hepatic portal system helps a lot. So there's a very important significance of this hepatic portal system, which is there in your syllabus also. Okay, so today we'll do only this much, and in the next session we'll end up this chapter also. Okay, thank you very much.